If you feel like you're wasting your life in a 9 to 5 job and feel like no matter how hard you try, you're just not getting anywhere, let me tell you something, guys. You're not crazy, you're just waking up. The 9 to 5 was never designed to make you wealthy. In fact, it was designed to make you poor and dependent. But over the last few years, I've worked exceptionally hard to build a system to escape the 9 to 5. And the best thing, it's not even hard to get there. In fact, it's so simple that anybody can do it once they have the playbook. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experiences of working in 9 to 5 and give away the strategy I use to start escaping it. So, let's get right into it. Hey guys, welcome to Respawn Protocol, the channel that helps young men build a better future. So today, I'm going to be talking about my experiences working in 9 to 5, why I think the system is broken, and most crucially, what you can do to start escaping it. And by using this system, I've watched my net worth grow from 0 to 200k in the last 5 years. And this wealth I've built has allowed me to live life on my own terms and start transitioning away from a 9 to 5. And this is what I want for you guys. Before we get into my strategy, I just want to share my overall observations and experiences from working in 9 to 5 over the last 15 years. So I want to start this off by saying that not all 9 to 5s are a waste of time. If you're in a high school role in tech, marketing, or a solid trade, you're probably learning super valuable skills that you can use later down the line to build your own business. So if you're young and you're in this position, I'd probably just encourage you to persevere and keep stacking that knowledge, because it'll pay dividends down the line. But for the majority of 9 to 5 employees, the 9 to 5 is a complete dead-end track where only misery and stagnation can be found. And guys, I've worked a ton of different 9 to 5s, and what I've learned over the years is that they aren't very professional. Most people I've worked with have just been kids in suits. And one thing I hated in the corporate world is that you're treated like you were in school, and honestly, I just don't have time for that. I was never one for being lectured to by people that I felt were less competent and skilled than me, and that was always a friction point in my 9 to 5 career. One thing that was crazy to watch was managers walking around, tripping on their ego, desperate to exercise any tiny slither of control they had in the workplace. And the worst thing for me is at the end of the day, with all of this stuff you tolerate, whatever you do in the 9 to 5, you just never fully compensated for your time and effort. And this is what I'm going to share with you shortly. How to actually extract the most value for your time and effort. But anyway, back to the point. I learned really quickly working in 9 to 5 that moving up the corporate ladder isn't about performance and merit. Instead, it's actually about sticking your nose as far up a senior's arse as you can and hoping for the best. And this always made me cringe, to be honest, so I've never really been one for arse licking. It's political in the corporate world, and this has only got worse in recent years with the rise of wokeism. I remember being asked for my pronouns in an email signature, and I just laughed and walked away. No thank you, lads. I'm alright. And when I was in a 9 to 5, every day probably feels like Groundhog Day. Pointless meetings, the office politics, and the worst part, even when I did everything right, I was rewarded with a measly 3% pay rise that gets wiped out by inflation over the next year anyway. And I just found that insulting, to be perfectly honest with you. And in the 9 to 5 system, I found myself running on a treadmill that kept me running in the same place no matter how much energy and speed I put into the role. And I kind of just realized that there was something wrong with the system and that I needed to make drastic changes in order to improve my quality of life. And this is where I learned the harsh truth. I was never going to become wealthy working a salaried job. Maybe back in the day some high earners could do this, but in today's economy, it's just simply not possible. So I'm sure you guys are already familiar with the struggles of a 9 to 5. Just want to get to the good part where I break down what I did to escape the trap. Before we get to this, you need to understand the mechanisms that keep you stuck in the first place, because we're going to reverse engineer these mechanisms later in the video as part of our exit strategy. So let's connect the dots quickly. Of all income sources, salaried income is taxed the heaviest. As an employee, your tax is deducted at source. Meanwhile, business owners, investors, and entrepreneurs, they pay tax after their money grows. Now, the issue of being taxed at source is made worse by the fact that taxes across the board are at their highest level since World War II. The harsh truth is that governments are broke and they want to extract as much value out of you as possible to prolong the inevitable death of their current financial system. And all of these factors combine and disincentivize the 9 to 5 lifestyle. And I think this is one of the main reasons why we're seeing a push towards what I call the freedom economy, and why people are opting out of the 9 to 5 system for good. In the 9 to 5 economy, most of your money just disappears in taxes, and the remainder you have left is eaten up by rising rent costs, rising grocery bills, and maybe, if you're lucky, you may enjoy one holiday a year. Guys, this isn't freedom, it's slavery. You go back 30 years and a man and woman could work an average 9 to 5 and they'd be doing just fine. His wife could stay at home looking after the kids, and they were generally afforded a good quality of life. But these days, Both man and woman work and struggle to pay the bills. The system is just broken and rigged. I mean, since 2008, real wages have barely even moved, but those in the freedom economy are just getting richer and richer. So what does this mean, guys? It means that you need to stop playing the 9 to 5 game and start playing the freedom economy game. Because the truth is, when you're an employee, it's super hard to save. And when it's hard to save, it's hard to invest. And when it's hard to invest, you cannot build the future. So instead of building your own future, you build someone else's and get paid in a broken currency that makes you poorer year after year. And this is the loop that keeps you feeling miserable, lost and hopeless, guys, and we need to break this. So with all of the pitfalls of the 9 to 5, it's no wonder that it's slowly dying. But how did I manage to jump ship? How did I manage to regain control of my life and build my own financial future on my own terms? Well, actually, strategy is dead simple. You just need to reprogram your brain and re-anchor it around the crucial principles I'm about to reveal. And the best part? You don't need to quit your job today to start the process. The formula I've built is literally zero risk and built so you can do it alongside your full-time job. So if anything goes wrong, you still have that income. Now, this mindset I'm about to teach is the same one the education system has tried to distract you from all your life. The elites didn't want you to learn this mindset because they knew that once you did, they wouldn't be able to keep you trapped in this system where they extract super high taxes and exercise full control over your time. So let's dig right into these timeless wealth principles, and I promise you guys, once you internalize them, everything else is going to become so much easier and you'll have all the mental tools required to break free from this stupid system. So, principle number 1. The first principle you need to understand is the relationship between time and money. Now, in a 9 to 5, trading your time for a fixed sum of money just isn't compatible with building wealth and freedom. There's only so many hours in a day, and you'll never get ahead by exchanging your valuable time for a currency that's constantly devaluing. Even if you make a good income for the hours you work, it's taxed super heavy anyway and basically taken away by the government. I used to work 70 to 80 hour work weeks and still couldn't get enough momentum to escape. Instead, we're going to use this secret tool that the wealthy use to accumulate wealth. And that tool is leverage. And we'll touch on leverage in depth shortly, but let's move to principle 2 first. Principle 2 is your inputs shape your outputs. Now, what you consume controls who you become. If you spend all your evenings and weekends binging TikTok and watching Netflix, you're just feeding your brain junk. And this is what I did for the longest time, and guess what? I got nowhere. So I started to educate myself and I started reading books and studying the wealthy. By doing this, I started rewiring my reality and aligning it to one that would attract wealth. I also learned to stop consuming and falling into the consumer's trap, spending my hard-earned money on shit that I didn't need. You don't spend your way to wealth, guys, unless you're spending that money for a return on investment or to acquire knowledge. So I minimized expenses such as cars, clothes, restaurants, and just generally switched my brain to prioritizing frugality instead of spending. And this leads me to the final principle, guys. You need to make the switch from spender to saver. Freedom requires fuel, and at the beginning, that fuel is savings. You can't invest if you spend everything on restaurants, tax, and clothing. The consumer mentality that the West lives off is just another form of control used by the elites to keep us poor. Stop spending money on stuff you don't need and start repurposing that financial energy to start building assets and leverage. So now that we have the mindset locked in, what are the actual steps we need to take on our path towards the freedom economy? Well, let me share with you the way I personally did it, and I do think that this is the easiest and most realistic way for a guy in a 9 to 5 to get started. I learned a few years back that if you want to build freedom, you need to build your own assets instead of getting paid to build someone else's. And this is absolutely fundamental, guys. If I had to summarize what needs to be done to actually build wealth and escape the 9 to 5, this would be it. Build your own assets. So if you don't know what assets help delink the relationship between time and money and help you build that thing I was talking about earlier, leverage. Leverage is what allows you to get exponential results without exponential effort. It's the ultimate cheat code to breaking the time for money trap. You see, when you work a job, your income is tied directly to your hours. No hours, no pay. But when you build assets, you introduce leverage, which means your efforts today can pay you for months and even years to come. A common example of assets that allow you to create leverage are real estate, stocks, crypto, precious metals, and businesses. And once I started building leverage, guys, this was the key to opening up the doors of the future I'd always wanted. So what you need to do is create a schedule within your life where you can dedicate 2 to 3 hours a day on building your own assets and using leverage to supercharge your income. But I understand that when you're in a 9 to 5 and don't have that much money, It's not feasible to just go out and acquire these assets right off the bat. So how do we bridge the gap between trading our time for money and building assets that de-link the relationship and allow us to apply this crucial leverage? Well, there is a golden bridge that connects these two realities. It was the golden bridge that I used to start escaping from the 9 to 5. And that bridge is side hustles. And honestly, guys, I absolutely love side hustles. Without side hustles, I never would have gained my freedom. And side hustles are amazing for a few reasons. They can be done alongside your 9 to 5 job. They're super simple to scale, and they don't require a lot of upfront investment as opposed to the key assets that I just mentioned. And side hustles are going to be your stepping stone to owning real assets, leverage, and freedom. And when I was grafting to detach myself from the 9 to 5, side hustles were my absolute best friend. I did everything. I did Amazon FBA, Facebook Marketplace flipping, freelancing, web building, offering SEO services, literally the lot. Doing these side hustles didn't just help me build income. They prepared me for the freedom economy and allowed me to learn key business skills such as sales, negotiation, marketing, and deal sourcing. And while this additional income was coming in, I ensured my expenses remained fixed and that I didn't scale up my spending with my income, and this is absolutely crucial. After 12 to 18 months of doing this, I built enough savings to start building real assets and start applying leverage to amplify my return on investment for the hours I worked. Now, for me, being fully transparent, the assets I invested in were Bitcoin, gold, silver, stocks, and businesses. But you guys should really kind of try to learn about all of the different asset types and start to get a feel for which one match your personality type and risk appetite. I can't tell you how to invest, and I'm not a financial advisor. I also started leveraging the skills I built from my side hustles to build my own businesses and trial different business models to see what worked. By investing in these assets, I started printing money in my sleep, guys. Like in the last 4 years alone since starting this strategy, I've seen my net worth go from 0 to 200k. That's a 10x, guys. And yeah, guys, I've been running this formula for 4 years now, and it's worked absolutely great for me. The failures along the way have been too many to count, but they've taught me invaluable lessons. And as for the wins, they've been compounding for a while now, and they've really helped me make significant progress towards full financial freedom down the line. I now have a solid portfolio of assets, and my businesses are growing very healthily and will continue to build my income passively over time through the use of leverage. So as you can see, guys, it's a super simple formula. But just in case you feel overwhelmed and don't understand, I'm going to recap the whole plan so you can start taking action today. So let's wrap this up with a quick summary. The 9 to 5 system is designed to keep you poor and dependent. A salary will never make you free. Freedom lives in ownership of time, income, assets, and leverage. To escape your 9 to 5, you need to switch your mindset to one that attracts wealth, minimize your expenses, start a side hustle, and with the cash generated from your side hustle, you're going to save it all, and once you have enough, you're going to use that cash to build or buy income-generated assets. So yeah, guys, get out there and start using this fail-proof strategy today to start moving away from your 9 to 5 and one step closer to the life that I know you deserve. Don't beat yourself up because you feel like you're failing in life. You're not failing, it's the system that's failing you. So now you have the roadmap to freedom, the next step is on you. So drop a comment below and tell me what skills you're going to start building first and what side hustles will you test first. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or lost, watch the tagged video right here. It'll help you find your North Star, your direction, and your meaning and purpose in life. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching the video today, and until the next one, guys, peace out.